What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker Beta. Today I'm joined with Rex Sparks. As always, we're going to basically discuss this this recent open beta. There were two betas between the last 2 weeks. Uh, open beta 2 was pretty smooth for me. I don't know how you felt about it. I don't even think you played as much as you did Open Beta 2 as we did playing Open Beta 3. But I think Open Beta 3 might have been where certain issues kind of popped up, but we'll get into that later. So I just kind of want to give your brief. I just want to get your like brief, impressions of the beta first off, so you can kind of talk about maybe if you liked. Well, first of all, did you enjoy the beta?
Surprisingly, when I started playing with you, I did a lot more than playing it solo because, like like I've been calling this thing chaotic from Jump Street, but it's like when you have like someone we're doing this with you, it's like it turns out a lot better than just doing it solo. So yeah, I actually enjoyed the beta because I really wasn't that high on this to begin with. But when I actually started playing it, especially with you, so yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, like I can kind of agree. I think there's a lot of people that will probably agree with you that like playing with randoms is not as fun as playing with your friends. Honestly, you need a group or at least somebody that you know to play this game with to really coordinate with because a lot of these random people that you play with, some of them don't even be playing the objective and everything, and that causes you to lose matches and stuff. And I think I played a lot more of the beta. I think it's safe to say that I played a lot more of the beta than you did. I think I got to what like level 48 or whatever. I don't know what the max was for the beta, but I got pretty far as the level, as far as the level ranking is concerned. But just overall, my impressions of the beta, like, okay, so the first beta that we had last week, I thought that went off a lot smoother than what this past beta uh basically did. The beta from last week, because I was going to do a whole video on it. I had a script uh prepared for it and everything. Had the whole script for it, but I decided to just go ahead and just wait until the third beta is done, and so that's why we're doing this video now. And so I thought the second beta was good. I thought that unlike the first beta where majority of people had issues with like the matchmaking and you just couldn't get into a match, and then when you did get into a match, it was pretty laggy, pretty bad connection, poor net code, and it was just a mess the first beta. But I think we can both agree that that second beta, the second and third beta, is a vast improvement over that first beta. I think they have really taken into consideration a lot of the issues that a lot of the fans have brought up. A lot of the issues that a lot of fans have brought up. But what do you think? You think that this was beta was a lot better than the first one that we had?
Oh, leagues better than the first one because I remember like I couldn't even like get into the damn thing the first time. So it's like, yeah, of course this one was better.
Hey, I just had to ask because man, it's just another opinion out there. But so, as far as matchmaking goes, we didn't really have too much of a trouble with matchmaking. Um, there was an instance during the third beta where like it did take a few minutes to kind of get into a match, but it was nothing. It was nothing like we were sitting there for like hours or like 10 or 15 minutes or whatever. We might have been sitting there for maybe like 5 or 6 minutes or whatever at the longest. But overall, I think they improved the matchmaking. The issue during the first beta was, I guess, the way that they were doing matchmaking. They were trying to make sure that every team, from what I could understood, from what I could understand, um, what they were trying to do, they were trying to make sure that every team was even. So every team needed to have a attack type, defense type, or whatever. It was just something with the matchmaking that they really messed up on the first beta, and so I'm glad that they fixed that. they also took into consideration, like I said, a lot of things that a lot of people were complaining about during the first beta. They nerfed a lot of moves, like they nerfed Sasuke's Chidori, the Chidori move. They kind of messed with the tracking on the Chidori. They tweaked a few other moves and stuff, but I wasn't even really able to play the first beta, so I can't really speak to how these improvements are too much. I will say that one of the things that I brought up to you the other day is they still need to fix the tracking on basically a lot of these jutsus and even some of the like the normal attacks. Like so for this game, for those of you guys who don't know, there's two ways that you can like normally attack somebody. There's like a weak attack and there's a strong attack. It's not like Ninja Storm where there's just one attack button. And regardless of whatever button you press, the tracking on it is ridiculous. And I think you can agree
Mhm.
that is freaking ridiculous. I could be like 10 yards away from somebody and then all of a sudden I press the button and especially if you're in the air, the game will magically just push you toward the opponent and it's ridiculous. They need to really tweak that tracking. And then also with the jutsus, you brought up to me the other day the fireball jutsu and the
Oh,
what's it called, the Phoenix fireball jutsu.
flower juicy. Yeah.
Yeah, and how bad, like how crazy the tracking is on that,
Uh,
especially on the Phoenix fireball. Like what you brought up to me, uh, that one has a lot better tracking than the regular fireball jutsu. And I think it's a bit too good. Like they need to kind of either tweak that or for like certain moves like that, if they don't want to tweak the tracking and they're fine with the tracking, then at least increase the cooldown. Like I like the fact that this game has cooldowns for the jutsus and stuff, so like you can't really spam them over and over. I mean, yeah, you can charge whatever moves you want. You know, after it goes on cooldown, you can hold down the jutsu button and charge it, but it's not something where you can just spam it over and over. Or at least, I mean, were people, and we saw this a lot, where people were just spamming the fireballs like everywhere,
mhm.
just sniping you from across the map. Fireball jutsu, Phoenix fireball jutsu, and I feel like they need to either increase the cooldown on that. Regardless, I think they need to increase the cooldown, but they also need to fix the tracking on that and the Rasengan. I told you how crazy the Rasengan was. I mean,
Oh my God, yeah.
I was away from somebody one time. I don't know how far away I was from this dude, and I just held down the Rasengan button and then let it go, and then all of a sudden I'm just flying toward dude. Like they definitely need to fix these things because I can see people really putting down this game because of a lot of because basically these tracking issues would definitely kind of piss people off. I can see that kind of frustrating people, and then it's that whole notion. It's the whole problem that basically hit detection is another issue. I think you can kind of agree with me on this. Like, did you see anywhere where like there like you could really tell that there was like hit detection issues where like it looks like you should have hit somebody, but the game
Oh
didn't
yeah,
register
plenty
it.
of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Plenty of times.
So like there are hit detection issues that they definitely need to fix, because that's something that can also really frustrate players, and it's just not like I can understand because I can understand a lot of people giving this game a lot of hate, and I guess I should have opened this video up saying that really this game has a lot of negative, a lot of negative impressions from a lot of people I'm seeing. There's a lot of negativity surrounding this game. Even you going into this, like you said, like you were kind of mentioning earlier, you weren't too keen on this game. Like you weren't really thinking about this game really too much. You didn't really think it's gonna be, anything worthwhile or whatever. But it's a really fun game if you can really like get into it and kind of look past all of its flaws, and we'll really get into these flaws because I think another issue that I think a lot of people had was with the camera and then the lock-on system. And I think you can agree with me on that. That camera's crazy.
Like God, that camera's awful. The camera and the lock on are awful.
Like once you get like there were so many times where like if you get especially if you get into a corner like you there's times where you couldn't even see your character. Maybe it's just me. There were times where I couldn't even see my character at some point, especially if there's like way too many characters, like if there's like way too many people rather. There's way too many people around you, and especially if you're locked on. And the lock on system itself, it definitely needs work. Like in most games, when you press the lock on system, if there's someone around you, it'll lock on to the closest person around you. But in this game, I felt like there were plenty of times where like there might have been two people around me, and one of these guys is way closer, but the game would lock on to the other character. And then there are other times where the game would accidentally just lock on to to another person, and they just need to fix that. They definitely need to fix that. Because I feel like the lock on system is definitely broken. The camera, there was a time when, and I might have trouble kind of describing this, but basically, if you fall off, you know how, and if you played the game, you'll definitely kind of get what I'm saying. Like, if you fall off on the sand map, if you fall into a pit,
Mhm.
there's this sort of, there's this camera view where, like, the camera kind of zooms out, and there was a time when I was about to fall down, but I didn't fall down, and then the camera just stayed zoomed out, and so like I was playing, I was still controlling my character, I was still alive, but the camera had zoomed out. Like the camera is definitely something that they have to fix. That camera, they have to fix that lock on because I can see that really just messing people up. But I've kind of talked a lot. So if there's anything that you want to also kind of add to this, I know you said that you like the graphics. Kind of mentioned how it kind of looks like Broken Bond and kind of like Rise of the Ninja to you.
It looks like they just picked up the aesthetic from both Rise of a Ninja and Broken Bond and just improved from like that aesthetic and just made it like current like gen. It honestly made me think like, okay, why can't we just have like another one of those? That's what it made me think about. So yeah, I think the graphics are really like nice for what this is going for. And also what they need to improve, forgot to put this in, they need to improve that rusting shuriken because
Oh
my
yeah, that
God,
too. That too.
it's like its own fireball. It's like its own
Yeah,
fireball. You throw
it
that
has
shit
crazy
and
tracking
it's like
rate.
oh my God. It's terrible. There's so many like range attacks that they need to improve. Hell, even the kunai knives, for instance, it's like, oh, I don't have any more fireballs to use. Guess what? You're getting shanked to shit with a bunch of kunai knives.
Yeah, yeah, that was an issue. I mean, spamming is an issue in like every type of fighting game. So it's something that I kind of don't really want to complain too much about. There was a lot of fireball spam. There was a lot of kunai spam. It's like, hey, all my jutsus are on cooldown. I have no other options. You're like 5 feet away from me. Let's spam kunai. Let's spam the kunai. Um, they do. I kind of feel like they do need to kind of increase maybe the cooldown for the kunai also. One thing, kind of getting back to the graphics, I will say that, and I kind of mentioned this before in another video, but I'm just gonna say it here. I love the look of this game, and this is kind of surprised. Like I will say, this game has really surprised me overall because when this game was first announced, I don't think anybody was really paying attention to this. Everybody was saying, "Oh, look at the graphics. This joint looks whack. These graphics look ugly. Uh, just the combat, everything just looks bad about it." But as soon as they introduced the whole aspect of character creation, and then as soon as we got
Uh-huh.
our hands on this game, like you got to really play this game to really see how good it looks. I mean, if you look at it on the computer, it might look bad if you look at it on YouTube or whatever. But if you really go and just play this game and have it on your TV, it looks really good. It looks like they took inspiration from the manga covers, the Naruto manga covers, and it has a painted look to it, which I think it's smart that they didn't take the same aesthetic from the Storm series. I know there's some people that kind of preferred that. There's some people that kind of wanted this game to kind of look more like the Storm series. But I like that they kind of differentiate it here so that the game just looks, just has its own feel and own look to it. But I did hear that they kind of took some of the same models and stuff from the Storm series. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't put it past them just because that's kind of a way to kind of cut down on cost and everything. Um, Getting back to what you said about the kunai, that definitely is kind of a issue. The spamming of the kunai. I will say this, every type that was in the beta had a different kunai. So like the healing type had a ceiling tag that kind of knock you away. The range type just had a regular kunai. Defense type had it had the bomb, right? It had the one of them I know had the ceiling, not the ceiling tag, the bomb tag, and then the other one had like another bomb or whatever. But I like the fact that it seems like for the most part that every class has their own different kind of kunai to use, and it looks like every class is gonna have their own like there's gonna it seems like there's gonna be jutsu that are only usable for a certain class, which I think that's good that they separated it like that. But do you think that first of all, do you think do you think they're gonna really go ham on the amount of jutsus that they're gonna put on the game? Like, do you think they're gonna go crazy on the amount of jutsus? Because there's a lot of jutsus in the Naruto series that they can choose from. I hope that they don't just give us just a handful, just like okay, here's like 50 jutsu, because there's way more than that, and there's a lot that they can do with it. Like after playing this beta, I just kind of wonder how different this game is gonna be because I keep seeing comments everywhere on like forums and even on YouTube where like people just got bored of the beta. Was there ever a point where you got bored in the beta? And like I said, do you think that they're going to really go crazy with the amount of jutsu that they're gonna give us?
Um, I think they're gonna probably do the handful idea. I know you don't like that, but knowing them, they might pull a yeah, here's a handful of stuff and here's what you can unlock, but we're gonna or probably not even unlock it. Here's everything from Jump Street and the rest. Yeah, we're just gonna release some DLC. They might pull that.
Yeah,
You
that's
never know.
something. Yeah, that's something we definitely got to kind of talk about, just kind of briefly about the DLC. So remind me. But getting into kind of about the jutsus and stuff, I did see a video kind of explaining about the mentor system and everything. You can only have up to two mentors. Basically, you can only have up to two mentors at a time, and like I guess the mentors are gonna like teach you different jutsu and stuff. And you can also unlock. I guess you can unlock costumes that are kind of like based off of your mentor. And something that I don't think a lot of people caught up. I don't think a lot of people will caught this during the beta. If you press triangle, like when you press triangle after you kind of entered after you enter matchmaking, and you press triangle on one of your created character slots, um, there are actually skills in this game, and I don't think anyone has actually kind of talked about this or even noticed it. There's actually skills in the game, and there were a few skills that were already on our created character by default. And these skills, they're more like passive skills. And I guess the best thing to kind of compare them to is maybe like the Z souls or super souls or whatever they're called in like Dragon Ball Xenoverse, where like you can basically add like these passive skills onto your character to kind of
They're
tweak and adjust different attributes and stuff. But I like that they're adding that, and I hope that kind of getting back into like what you said, kind of going off what you said about them possibly kind of giving us all the jutsus from Jump Street. I don't think it's gonna really work that way. But I guess we can kind of talk about DLC. Well, we can kind of talk about the DLC just a little bit now. Um, do you think they're going to? And I kind of hope that they don't do this. Where you think they're gonna hold a lot of jutsus or jutsus and characters for DLC? like I wouldn't care about personally. I wouldn't care that they would be holding certain characters for DLC, but not jutsus, because I think like if they do jutsus, I think that will break the game. But what do you think?
Might I mean just look at Xenoverse 2 and look at what they're doing. So yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to like hold up jutsus and characters within DLC because that's just how the market kind of works now. So you kind of like expect this sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if they, did this, to be honest.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, wasn't it like well, even in the first one and even in the second one, I guess like if you buy
Mm-hmm.
a pack, if you buy a certain pack, it'll give you the jutsu. Well, not jutsus. Well, it give you the special moves in that game, and then also like the story mode content, like parallel quests and everything.
Yeah.
So, like the reason why I say that would kind of break the game is because like if somebody else has okay all these jutsus are powerful, especially if these jutsus that they plan on possibly maybe releasing in the future as DLC. If those jutsu DLC like if those are powerful jutsu, if I'm another person, I'm like I can't like I don't have the money to afford buying all of the DLC or the season pass or whatever, or I just don't want to buy it. I might not feel like it's worth it. Like it might kind of unbalance the game. It might just unbalance the game if they do that. I do think they need to add more maps. One complaint that I'm hearing is the fact that this game might actually lack in terms of kind of content, because with a game like this, and it seems like they're kind of trying to. It seems like they're going to most likely they're going to want to support this game and do the whole games as a service model where they support this game over time. Similar to how they did Dragon Ball Xenoverse, where that game, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 has been supported for over like a year now, and it's steadily getting content. I think they would want to do the same thing with Shinobi Striker, because I assume they made a lot of money off of like Dragon Ball Xenoverse the way that they're doing it. And if I remember correctly, I think the other day I read that like Dragon Ball Xenoverse sold like I think like over 10 million or whatever kind of overall. I think it might be either Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and 2 combined, I think. But I think they definitely want to make money off of this and kind of keep the players playing the game. So I think they definitely need to add like maps and stuff as DLC and possible modes, because, like I said, one of the complaints that I'm hearing is that there's too little modes. There's not enough modes, and there's not enough maps. I mean, so far, what are the maps that we know about? The Sand Village, the Hidden Leaf Village, and the what's the other one? The Raining Village, the one with the rain, the Hidden Rain Village.
Yeah, in Rain Village, yeah.
Yeah, so those are only three. Oh yeah, the Forest of Death, right? So that's like four. So that's four maps. And I could already see like during the beta, people. I mean, even we were getting tired of that sand map. That
Oh
sand map.
God.
Let's talk about that for a second, because that sand map has to be one of the worst designed multiplayer maps I've ever seen. I'm not somebody who's sitting up here complaining because I'm bad at the game and I just keep falling into the pits. I just think it's poor. I think it's poorly designed. There's areas in that map where like the sand is falling down, sort of like how a water would fall down.
Sand
Uh,
waterfalls, for
yeah,
God's
yeah, yeah.
sake.
Sand waterfall. I just want to describe it so that I just wanted to describe it so that people can, really just kind of understand what I'm saying. But like these sand waterfalls would be messing you up. Don't accidentally land on a wall that has like that sand waterfall by it, because that would just push you all the way down in the pits. And then there are times where, especially if your connection is bad or it's lagging, or something is happening with the server. And I guess this kind of gets into another issue that I had with the game, is that there were times when like if your connection is bad, or if I guess there's just certain issues with the server or whatever, it makes it hard to kind of climb up. It makes it hard to climb up the side of buildings and different structures, to the point where sometimes you might accidentally, and this has happened to me many times, and let me know if this has happened to you, where like the game would like for some reason you just fail for like no apparent reason. You should have like you shouldn't be falling, but you just fell in a pit, and there's just no logical explanation for it.
That's pretty much that map as a whole, to be honest with you. Like, I can't tell you how many times I died just for like, oh wait, how did I fall? Oh, look at that! It's damn sand waterfalls again. You know how much I complained about this. I'm like, you know how much I
Yeah,
complained
yeah, I
about this
know,
when we
I
played
know.
this.
I just
It's
wanted to
like
put it out there, man. Cause this map
it's
is horrible.
disgusting.
I don't know the forest. See, the forest of death. I didn't really get to play that. Cause like I said, the first beta, I swear I played for like maybe 2 minutes and I could barely do anything because it was so laggy. The net code was just bad. It was just bad experience overall first beta. So I can't really speak on the Force of Death. But I personally don't think they need to be adding like pitfalls in a game like this. The only upside to like having the pitfalls and stuff is that it's hilarious to kind of make people fall down because there were times on that sand map where people would kind of get knocked off, and then they'll use the chakra jump to kind of hang on to the side of the structure or whatever, and then I would just throw the kunai and it would knock them down. And it's just hilarious to see that, and it does open up kind of a strategy a little bit, but it does and it will result in a lot of deaths that probably shouldn't have happened. A lot of deaths that could have been avoided if there wasn't a pitfall there. And there's nothing wrong with having hazards, but I just feel like that stage in particular just poorly designed. The Hidden Leaf Village, I think we can both agree that's the better stage that we played, and
Uh-huh.
I liked it because it was like really big. It wasn't like a smaller map. We should also talk about the game modes before I forget. So the different game modes that were available during the demo and that we've seen throughout the trailers and stuff. We have flag battle, base battle, barrier battle, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, combat battle. So we had all four of those. And during the second beta, it was just combat battle and base battle, which is basically capture points. And then during the third beta, they kind of alternated between these modes. So like depending on what session you were playing, they were kind of alternating between the modes and stuff. So let's kind of go down the line and kind of give our kind of impressions on each of the modes. So I think we can both agree. First off, let's just talk about this barrier battle. I think we can both agree that that was the one that we hated the most.
Oh God, yeah.
Because for me, I felt like it was very uneven. It feels like the person it feels like the team that is on the defense that is defending Gamakichi. It feels like they kind of have a unfair advantage. It really does feel that way, especially on
Because
the Hidden Leaf match. But go ahead, say what you're gonna say.
because it's like because like the defenders of Gamagechi, they have a boss. They literally like have a boss killing you. Even when you like get the barriers down, and it's like you gotta kill him, but it's
Well,
like he
no, go ahead, finish
it's
what you're
water,
gonna say.
water bullets, water bullets, water bullets, water bullets, water bullets, water bullets out the ass. That's basically it. Go ahead.
Oh no, the only thing I wanted to add was like, well, I was gonna really say to kind of counter your point. I mean, didn't really have an issue with Gamakichi fighting back and stuff. But I can kind of see your point. They do kind of have kind of a extra ally, whereas though the other team is kind of at a bit of a disadvantage because then it becomes 5-on-4. But then like my issue is kind of with the fact that for the team defending Gamakichi, they don't really have too much to really focus on. I mean, as long as they can keep one of those stakes down, one of those ceiling stakes down to kind of keep the barrier up, they're good. They don't really have too much to worry about. Whereas if you're the other team, you gotta do all these things. You gotta go through all these hoops, all these steps. You gotta first you gotta take all three of the stakes down to take the barrier down. Then you have to kill Gamakichi, and he has a lot of health. He has a lot of health. And then not only that, you have to deal with the opposing team, which is going to be steadily trying to keep you away from Gamakichi and steadily trying to prevent you from bringing those stakes up. And something that I hate playing on the other side is just that um, playing on the defensive side. I hate that you can't bring the stakes back down. I hate that you can't bring the barrier back up. Like I think that's stupid.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah, that
stupid
was
dumb.
just
Cause
that's
that
ridiculous.
that
At
was the
least
thing
the
that I
counter.
didn't. Oh,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Say what you gonna say.
I mean, at least to counteract, like, oh yeah, we got to lift it up. The opposing team has to lift it up in order to get to Gamakichi. Why do the defenders? Why can't the defenders like put that shit back down? Given the fact, like, the attackers have to lift it up, that doesn't make any sense to me.
And it would allow you to at least like okay, it would kind of allow that team, the people that are defending, it would kind of give them a chance to kind of come back to kind of just another, I guess another, well, I don't know if that would kind of unbalance it, because I don't know if that would kind of unbalance it and kind of drag the match out a little. But I don't know. I wasn't really feeling this. I wasn't really feeling barrier battle. I think like we both said that was like the worst mode that we played, and like we said, it felt very uneven. It felt very uneven, especially if you have a team. Especially if you're playing against a good team and if you're playing against a team. I feel like if you're playing against a certain type of team that maybe has a lot of range type, because they could just keep spamming the fireball jutsu from far away to like knock you away from the stake. And there are certain types that are good in certain modes, like for example the defense type, because they have like the sand wall. They're good. They're good to use in like the capture point and like capture the flag. Really, a lot of the modes that requires you capturing points or even protecting points, the defense type and I think like the range type, they're really good at that. But I, oh, you about to say something?
Got it. Like, nah, no, no, did I go ahead?
Oh no. Well, the only other thing I was gonna say regarding barrier battle is I think they need to move where the stakes are. They need to move where the stakes are on that sand map, because I think man I think they're at I think so. I think that maybe, just maybe, one team is at a disadvantage. The team that is defending Gamakichi, I think they're at a disadvantage just because of where the developers decided to put the stakes. Because like the first place that you spawn at, like near that first place is that first stake, and it seemed like there were multiple times where we would get ambushed. We would basically get attacked at that spot like immediately. And it kind of feels uneven where they put the stakes and everything. I don't know. But moving on from barrier battle, I think this is the easiest one to kind of talk about quickly. Combat battle, which is basically the objective of combat battle, is basically every team has a set number of lives, and basically when you die, you lose a life for your team, and the objective is basically to kill the other team and take down all of their lives. And I think we can. Well, I feel like this mode. I enjoyed this mode a lot more, especially a lot more than barrier battle. I like this mode because it just straight up team, basically team deathmatch, and I like that. I would even love to see them going forward, even though I doubt that they would do this because this game is really a team focused game. But I would love to see a free for all mode, just to kind of
Yeah.
just to kind of have a different team death or a different deathmatch mode that I'm not relying on my team. It's just me relying on my own skill. But overall, I think we both enjoyed combat battle, especially a lot more than barrier battle. Well, let me not speak for you. What do you think about the combat battle?
I think I completely agree with you because like it's simple, pretty much team deathmatch, and I like this mode. I really like this mode in comparison to like the barrier battle, but but yeah, I think you kind of do speak for me for this mode in particular. So yeah, I really have nothing to add to it.
Yeah, like it's really straight up, and like I mentioned before, people don't play, especially if you're playing with randoms. They don't play the objective. All they want to do is all they worry about. It seems, and I could be wrong about this, but all I think they're worrying about is their kill death ratio, trying to get the most kills and stuff, and not really focusing on the objective. So I think when you play this mode with randoms, I think it might be a bit you might have a better experience playing this mode with randoms than playing another mode with randoms. I think combat battle is something that you would probably want to stick to. Other than combat battle, so let's see. We went through combat battle, barrier battle. The other one was capture the flag. We didn't get to play. We personally didn't get to play that too much, but my my experience with it, I didn't really have a problem with that mode per se. Um, it was more the team that we were playing with, especially the other night. It was more the team
Mm.
that we were playing with. Like that's something that I can't stress enough. You really got to coordinate, especially if you're like playing with a friend. If you're playing with randoms, you might have to do a lot of the heavy lifting yourself. Like you might need to have somebody sticking back and playing like the defense role or even the healing type if you really want to get in there. But you might need to have somebody protecting your base because I felt like it did kind of drag on a few times. A few matches kind of dragged on, mainly because people weren't going after people weren't protecting. They either weren't protecting our flag or they weren't trying to go after the other flag or the team. I guess one team in particular, they were really good at really protecting their flag, and we had nobody at our base protecting ours. So it's really one of those things where somebody has to take the initiative to protect your flag, and like another few people on your team need to go out and just try to get the other flag. But overall, what do you think about flag battle?
It was so. It was kind of just okay, to be honest. Like honestly, like the strategy of someone like protecting your flag and like to go ahead and like attack and go on attack while one person that would be me, I kind of just snuck on by and just started to like take their flag whenever I could. So
Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Is like if you see all these people over here, just go and sneak around the other way and try to get their flag. That's really the only thing you could really do, especially if your team ain't gonna be taking the initiative. Really.
we really had trash teams, to be honest with you. So every time you were like, oh my god, going, oh my god, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be sneaking around this whole fiasco
Cause
of
man, there were
death
there
that
were
you
just a
guys
lot of
got going here.
times. Man, there were a lot of times where you could easily get jumped. There'll be like two or three people just on you for no apparent reason. There's a lot of times you could just get jumped, especially if like you're the hill type. You're definitely going to be a target if you're a hill type. I guess I should really say this. I should warn y'all right now. If you're gonna play the hill type, you are going to be a target. And
Uh-huh.
I felt like in the beta, the hill type was more of the annoying character. It was more of a character that was there to kind of annoy and kind of disrupt the opponent. You could use well, I can't remember the name of the jutsu, the paralysis jutsu or whatever, the paralyze an enemy, and that jutsu in particular was very useful because you can shut down people trying to use the barrier, trying to use the sand barrier or whatever, and the ceiling tag that was also very useful. But the hill types overall, they're kind of like they really are a target for the other team because hill types are like the most. I feel like they're you can't really underestimate the importance of the hill type, especially in combat battle, but in other battle in other modes also because these are the guys that are supposed to be healing you and supposed to be keeping the team alive and everything. If they are doing their job, and you saw when I was playing Sakura, where like Sakura, say what you want about the character itself, but Sakura was pretty good. Just in this beta, she was really good to play with because she had an offensive abilities. Especially with the cherry blossom blast. It seemed like that move. It seemed like that move was able to really take down the barrier. I might have gotten that wrong. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's something that it might seem like it from my perspective. It seemed like that move was really powerful. That it was able to just take down the barrier, take down a lot of people. Something that I don't think the tracking was. I don't even think the tracking was even bad on that move. Like I think that with the hill type, I think you really do need to really focus on healing, like healing, doing your job, playing your role. But you might want to have some offensive. If there are some offensive jutsus in the game, you might want to at least pick one offensive jutsu to kind of help yourself out because, like I said, you are going to be a target. But what was the other mode we didn't? Yeah, okay. So the last mode that we gotta talk about is the capture point mode, which I will say, other than the combat mode, I think I enjoyed that a lot more than the barrier mode and the other modes. Cause I love playing capture points in just about any multiplayer game. They have capture points. I just like playing it. I think it works really well with the structure of this game. What do you think about the capture point mode?
Capture point mode was okay. Honestly, it was just okay. Honestly, it'd probably be the number two behind combat mode for me. So it was just okay. It was just really okay.
Okay, so before I kind of get into I will ask you this, and forgive me if I kind of asked you this before, but do you think these modes will get stale? Do you think they need to add some more modes and stuff? Cause keep in mind, we just got we all just got done playing the beta, man. We all just got done. It was just a beta, so the whole experience we didn't get to really get the whole experience. But I see a lot of people just really complaining about okay, there's not enough content there. So that's why I really got to stress. I really got to ask you, do you think there needs to be more modes, especially since we're not gonna get a story mode? And speaking of story mode, and not to kind of get off
Oh
topic,
boy.
but they did, they did. If you are following, so if you are following, if you are subscribed to Namco Bandai's channel, they have been putting up a lot of interviews for a lot of the games that they revealed at E3 and a lot of different games. They got one for Jump Force, then they even got one for Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker. They have a lot of these interviews that I guess they did some interviews at a lot of these different events, different expos, Anime Expo, E3, whatever. But there was a video that they posted that Namco Bandai posted recently, and someone mentioned the story mode. It's like they have people out here shilling for the game and lying about there's a story mode. Just to clarify, there is no story mode in the game unless they decide to add one later on, or maybe they're gonna surprise us with one. But there's no story mode in the game, and that is kind of a red flag for some people that might not even have online or might have bad online or might just prefer a single player experience, sort of similar to Xenoverse. And so that's why I gotta ask. So you think that this is enough, just based on what we know that they're offering us? Do you think this will be enough? Do you think this will be enough to kind of hold people off and kind of just kind of keep a community alive, kind of keep people playing the game? I guess is what I'm asking.
Uh, it's so hard to say because like there are people such as me who are kind of turned off by a game that doesn't have like a story mode, but sometimes that Like if a game's like really good, then it really doesn't need it. But after playing this, I think that a story mode would be welcome, but I think it can like like stand up on its own 2 feet and not require one, to be honest with you. I think there it should be just a few, like two more modes, just two more modes, and it'll be fine. Other than that, I kind of want to stay positive on this one. I don't want to like completely like shit on it and say like no, because I don't really feel that way. But honestly, like I think it'll be able to hold up for a few like months before people get kind of sick of it. I think it has a good like few months on it, or a few months to get out of it before people like switch over to something else. So
like
yeah.
I've been saying from day one that I really didn't have an issue with there being no story mode. There are people like there really are people that are like, okay, that's a deal breaker for me. Like, oh nah, there's no story mode, so that was a deal breaker for a lot of people. But for me overall, there's no deal breaker there. As soon as they announced character creation, that was when my interest in this game basically went from 0% to like 100% so quickly as soon as they announced that character creation. Um, I like I said, I kind of agree with you. Like I don't. It's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of maybe it's too early to tell if this game is gonna have legs on it. If this game is gonna really grab people. Because there are some people that think that this game will die very quickly, but I think it's gonna live and die based on the community, based on how well the developers support this game, and just judging off of how Namco Bandai and the developers have kind of handled this beta, I kind of have mixed feelings, cause and I brought this up to you before how basically Namco Bandai and whoever this developer is, they aren't doing a good job when it comes to keeping the community updated. Because if you don't have a Twitter, you probably missed out on a lot. You probably even missed this beta, or you probably missed out on a lot of the updates because there were multiple times where, especially during the open beta, so during the third open beta rather, during the third open beta, they extended the open beta. They extended it a day, and what was weird is that on the day that they said that they extended it and everything, especially on the 29th, the game was down the whole day for maintenance, and that's sort of disappointing because throughout the throughout these 2 weeks, we've been playing the game, and like what we mentioned, we didn't have that issue. We didn't have that matchmaking issue, and they never got back with anybody. They didn't tweet out that okay, we're gonna be on maintenance for a while. We might give y'all another extra day because they kept the thing. What they kept doing, they kept delaying the beta. They kept changing the schedule and stuff. They kept changing the schedule to the point where I put up a video of the schedule, and then I had to put up another video. Then I posted the tweet. I posted one of the tweets that they tweeted out and everything. There were a lot of people that were confused about the schedule, about what was just going on behind the scenes when it came to the server, the maintenance, and everything. I think they need to get better at really communicating all of this to their fans. Like it shouldn't have to be me or somebody else because a lot of the times I found out about the changes to the beta schedule by going on forums and stuff. Like I shouldn't have to go on another forum. I shouldn't have to go on game FAQs or GameSpot, whatever forums or whatever, to find out what's going on about this game. If you're the developer and you have a Twitter, or even Namco Bandai, the publisher itself, that's your job to keep people updated. I would even think that they would have put out a video on YouTube, because they have been putting out videos uh showing off the different modes in this game, showing off different characters and whatever. But they didn't speak at all about, okay, we're gonna give y'all a extra day, or we're changing the beta schedule. And I like this is just a nitpick. This is just a nitpick, but I wish that they would also put out the um the Eastern times because they put out the Pacific times and even I think even the Central times, but they never put out the Eastern times. So I took the initiative to like translate those times, but not everybody's going to do that. Not everyone has the time to translate all of these session times. Like I don't know why, and forgive me because I am kind of going on a rant, so I apologize. But I hate the fact that the way that they kind of structured this beta, or at least the second, especially the second open beta, where it was like, okay, you can only play at these times, and then with the third open beta, they said, okay, y'all can play whenever y'all want between these next few days, but we're gonna be alternating the game modes and stuff. Like I said, they just need to get better when it comes to. I think it's just Namco Bandai as a whole. They need to get better when it comes to these betas, and this developer needs to get on the ball because if not, if they don't start communicating and really just start communicating with the players and stuff, I can see people really just getting confused as to what's going on and even dropping the game because of this. This is a very serious issue, especially if you're trying to get people to really stress test the beta. And I think there's another thing that I really need to really kind of bring up is just the fact that this is a beta, people. This is a beta. This is not a demo. I see a lot of people kind of treating this as a demo, but I mean, it's a beta. It's a beta. The whole point of the beta was basically to basically stress test the servers and see what they need to fix. So if there's anything that was wrong with the beta, y'all need to be vocal. I know they put up a survey for the second open beta. I don't know if they put up another one for the third one, but if there were any issues, y'all need to contact Namco Bandai. Do what y'all gotta do to get your voice out there, because I think this game could be good. It could be something that a lot of people enjoy, but like we said earlier, there's some things that they need to fix overall. But yeah, I think like I said, apologies for the rant, but overall, final thoughts on the beta, because I
I
think we covered
enjoyed my time
everything.
with it. I actually really enjoy my time with it. Like I said earlier, it's fine about the rant, dude. It's fine. You gotta get your gripes out sometimes, And it's always me that goes off. So like when you do it, it's like it's really rare, and I find it really like okay. He has it in him. He has the anger in him. See, it's
No,
not
it's
just
not
me.
really necessarily comes from a place of anger. It's just like this is just common
It's
sense.
really
This is common sense, and maybe it's the Eastern thing because us over here in the West, we're pretty good at like we do. It seems like because this is something I'm noticing is like we do things differently over here when it comes to betas, especially like if this was a Western game, the beta both the second and third beta, there wouldn't be any sessions. There wouldn't be, oh, you can play from this time from between like 4 a.m. in the morning to like 8 o'clock, and then the next session is from like 2 a.m. in the morning to 5 o'clock or whatever. It's just like, we don't do it that way. And like, we don't do that. We don't do betas that way in the United States and in other places. So it could be an Eastern thing. It could be just the way that because they're a Japanese developer and stuff. Maybe that's the way that they do it because the whole time zone difference and everything, and maybe that's just the way that they planned on doing it, to kind of just stress test these servers. But it's just an issue that I felt like I kind of needed to bring up, and since we're talking about Shinobi Strikers, I kind of just wanted to bring that up now, since we're doing this whole discussion or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way that you feel. I enjoy the beta. I feel like I'm definitely gonna get this game day one. Hopefully, if I'm still in time. I can't even speak right now. If I'm still in town and this game, because I think I might be leaving during that time because this game comes out August 31st. I might not be in town when this game comes out. I hope to be streaming it and stuff, assuming that YouTube gives me my streaming privileges back. I hope to stream this game. Hope to have a lot of content for this game. But yeah, overall, that was our thoughts on Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker, both for the second and third beta. Hopefully, I don't think we're gonna get another beta, but the really the only thing I wish they would have done with this beta is give us access to the facilities, because I think in like the first beta they gave us access to one of the facilities to kind of change our clothes, I think, I kind of wish they would have given us a bit of access to that because I feel like once we get the full game and like we get access to all the other facilities. I think people, some people that didn't really like the beta at first, once we get all the options available to us, they might end up enjoying the beta a lot more. I mean not the beta, the full game. And like we were saying earlier, it's just there's a lot of things that are kind of uncertain right now, uncertain with this game. Like we don't know if there's gonna be jutsus, like different jutsu skill combinations and whatever that people find. And this is kind of fear that I have that people are gonna find like different skills and different jutsus, sort of a combination to where they find this broken combination to use, and then a lot of people are gonna be using that same broken combination. Like I'm afraid that that's gonna happen because that would really bring the game down. Because I think that kind of happened with like Dragon Ball Universe. There were a lot of crazy combinations, or a lot of different. You would run into a lot of people that are using like the same loadout, using the same sort of loadout, using the same sort of attacks and stuff. I hope that this game doesn't really have that problem, but certainly something that could be kind of a concern to kind of just be kind of wary of, I guess. But yeah, so that's been our discussion on the beta. Let us know what you guys thought about the Naruto beta, and thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe. We're out of here. Peace.